Welcome, everyone. We are live. It's Wednesday already. Oh my, we are in the thick of things, aren't we? Anywho, it is always a pleasure and a privilege to be here with you in the mornings, the crack of dawn. Here's something for you. Signs follow. So when you catch yourself asking for signs, think about what you are asking for. You are asking for a sign to see if you are right. But here's the reminder for you. You are always right. As within, so without. What you are is what you will see. It is what you will do. That is not going to change. I don't make that law. That law is immutable. It is there, and we are governed by it. So if you're asking for a sign, in order to know if something has happened or not, you see it. So if you're asking for a sign, then that thing has already happened. Things only ever leave evidence. They leave evidence behind that they have happened. So if you're asking for a sign, the thing has already happened, and that's how come you get the sign. The quote-unquote synchronicity. A synchronicity is the principle of correspondence. What you see on the outside is what you are on the inside. This is the part that we remember. But we're running around, but oh, give me a sign. You know, we can ace and base it. I saw the sign and it opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. Oh, sure. But you can only see the sign of something that has already happened. A sign is the evidence of something happening or something that has happened. You cannot see on the outside that which has not transpired first on the inside. Does that make sense? Think about it. Why would you need a sign if you knew that what you were doing has to show up? You see, we ask for signs to assuage our doubt. When you catch yourself asking for a sign, it is the evidence of your doubt of the present situation working out. What was that? When you ask for a sign, show me a sign, Lord. Let me know that I'm on the right track. That is the evidence of your doubt. When in actuality, there is no reason to doubt. Now, I'm not laying here and saying, oh, I don't doubt. What, you think that I haven't lived in the same indoctrination as you? I am living in it as we speak. But what we remember is this. If you remember the principles, the all is mind, the universe is mental. As above, so below, as within, so without. And if you want to assuage your doubt, don't ask for signs. Look in the yard. Look in the yard. Look in your garden. Look in your garden. Well, what did you plant out there? What did you plant in the garden? Well, you will see the evidence of it growing, will you not? Now, depending on where you are in the world, spring may have sprung. Right? But, spring, she's not here yet for us. She's not quite sure. She wants to be, but she's not quite sure yet. At least that's what I say. With the snow and the sunshine, I feel like Mother Nature is in menopause, but that's another moment. One minute she's hot, next minute she's cold, and I said, ooh, Mother Nature, I feel you though. You see, we will always see the evidence of what we have planted. And because we do not see the correspondence between the mental aspect and the physical aspects, we look for signs. That's why we don't get it. Because that principle of correspondence tells you what you plant, you will reap. It assuages all doubt. You better hope I'm using that word in the right place. It calms doubt because you can see the evidence of what was planted and what was reaped. You can see the sign. And we always see the sign in what we reap, not before we plant. You cannot reap what you have not planted because it hasn't grown. You didn't. Okay, don't get that twisted. I have an apple tree in my yard. I didn't plant that apple tree, but somebody planted it. So long as it is planted, it'll bear fruit. Okay, it is an apple tree and I will get apples. So I will always have the evidence of the apples in the yard. Always. So that is telling us we don't have to doubt. But you know why we doubt? Because we try to live in hypotheticals. Yeah, but what if? No, we live naturally. Remember Neville, where he says, you do it until it takes on the tones of reality? The tones of reality, it is natural. So what are you naturally doing right now? If you are constantly asking for signs to prove to you, because quote unquote, we want to believe it and then we'll see it. But flip that. You have to see it, right? And the only way to see it is to be it. That seems like something far-fetched, but it isn't. Right now, we're living in a world of believing what we see. This is why we can't tell AI from humanity, because we believe what we see. But if you see what you believe, which is how we live in the first place, that's the sign. The sign always follows. A sign does not show up to reassure you of anything. You already have assurance. You just didn't recognize that you have assurance. What is the assurance? The assurance is, as within, so without. You reap what you sown, as above, so below. That is the assurance. Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine. Right? That hymn is so old. But we want to have a sign. And anytime you catch yourself asking for a sign, you have just shown yourself that you're living from a place of doubt. Well, I just want to see it to make sure. You already have surety. The surety is, as within, so without. Whatever your mental attitude is your physical behavior. That's it. That is your assurance. That is your assurance. You don't have to doubt. Doubt is a state of forgetting. Forgetting what? Forgetting what you are. You're the blueprint. You're the pattern. And we see the evidence, we see the signs of our pattern as we live. But you see, we have to remember that what you are is what you will do. So if you catch yourself asking for a sign, you've just shown yourself that you're living from a place of doubt. And doubt has friends: worry, anxiety, Depression. That's what doubt has, is friends. So they just run in a pack, you know? They run in a pack. So stop asking for signs and see them everywhere, because they are only the evidence of what you are. And I know that for some we want to think that, oh, that's so new age. That has nothing to do with new age. It has everything to do with the principles. Reaping what you've sown is not new age. It's gardening 101. But then the question begs to be asked, how does that happen? What causes it to happen? If I plant corn, why do I get corn? Because the principle of correspondence tells us what you plant, you will reap. You don't have to hope. You just have to plant. Cause and effect tells you if you plant, it will grow. The effect of planting is reaping. So then, we now are in a position to choose what to plant, because you're told the outcome of planting is reaping. So then you ask yourself, what do I want to reap? And then you select that thing, that seed, and you plant it. And when you plant it, well, you can't be surprised when it grows. You can't be. Now, you'd be surprised if it doesn't grow. Chances are it has nothing to do with you if it doesn't grow, right? Did we get a drought? The effect of drought is barrenness. Nothing grows in the presence of drought, unless, of course, they are specific to drought. There's certain bacteria that lives in these, is it sulfur? These really, really hot pools. And nothing else lives there but that. So everything has its place. Cause and effect. Because this thing is the way it is, it survives in that environment. So remember, as you go about your day, that we don't look for signs. When you see a sign, it's just telling you, well, this thing happened. So you're looking for the sign, well, then the thing has happened. They don't precede. A sign doesn't come before. Ask any policeman when he's looking at a crime scene. How do you know it's a crime scene? You have the signs, the evidence of something having happened. So a sign is the evidence of something having happened. So you are looking for a sign before it happens. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. You're not going to see a sign before the thing happens. But what that question, oh, show me a sign, what that will do for you is to show you your place of doubt that you occupy. That's what it will show you. It will show you your worry. It will show you, you see, because funny thing, that asking for a sign shows you the evidence of what's happening. The worry, the doubt, the angst, the anxiety, the depression, the fretting, the rumination. All of those things stem from doubt. Power of Christ compels you, fan base. I might be in the Matrix fan base. It's swirling, and I don't know what that means, but it be swirling. So I don't know if you guys can hear me on fan base or not. Oh, look, it just popped out again. Great. So pay attention to yourself. Yeah, but I just need to be sure before I commit. You are always sure. Oh, what are you always sure of? The law. So if there's worry, it means you doubt yourself. You doubt how the situation is going to turn out. If you remember step 2, experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. That right there will eliminate your worry and your fretting. Why? Because you would be doing something, would you not? You would be living your life, would you not? So, naturally, you would be living your life from a particular mental space. Your job in step 2 is to capture the mental space that you want to occupy. Catch it because it's right there. We put ourselves in the mood all the time. So you catch the mental attitude, you catch the mindset, you catch the mood, and then you apply it to anywhere in your life that you naturally live. You do the dishes, you load the dishwasher. Well, every time you load the dishwasher, put yourself in that mental place. Why would you put yourself in that mental place? Because the mental place dictates the physical actions. So, whether or not you rich or poor, you still got to poop in the potty. But what mental attitude will you poop on the potty from? That's why I tell you we live naturally. Do you walk your dog? Do you drink your tea? All those things you do naturally. Oh my God. Who's a poet and don't know it? All of those things you do naturally. So you find the thing that you do naturally, and every time you do, you just choose one of those things. You know what? Every time I do the dishes, I'm going to put myself in this mental attitude. So how many times you do the dishes in the day? Put yourself there. You say, every time I drive, I'm going to put myself in this mental attitude. So every time you drive, you put yourself in that mental attitude. Every time I walk the dog, I'm going to put myself in this mental attitude. So every time you walk the dog, you put yourself in this mental attitude. And let me tell you something, Linda. I walk Charlie a lot. Charlie says, "We going outside, Angela. Let's go." And he will howl and he will bark until I get my coat on. So I say, fine. Every time I go outside and walk Charlie, I'm going to put myself in this particular mental attitude. Now, all you're doing with that particular activity is training yourself to be in a particular mental attitude. That's all you're doing. And every time you put yourself in that mental attitude, you have taken yourself away from worry. You've taken yourself away from fretting. You've taken away your attention from that which drains, and you've put your attention upon that which gives life. You know, Deuteronomy 28, I put before your life and death. Choose life, right? And then when you start doing that, you will know that what you practice, you perform. So you know that from that mental attitude, you have to live your life from there. So if that mental attitude is peace, tranquility, bliss, joy, if that's where that mental attitude is, then your physical activities fall into place. Why do they fall into place? Is it because it's magic? No. Is it because it is wishful thinking? No. Is it because you're hoping and wishing? No. It is because every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. So as within, ta-da, so without. That's what it is. So if you say, I be struggling, well, if you struggling, you catch yourself struggling mentally when you do particular things. So you pick one of those things that you're struggling with because it's so real to you, isn't it? And you put yourself in a different mental attitude when you do that thing. You still have to do the activity, but do it from a different mental place. Because if your body were healthy, right? Like, for instance, if you're dealing with a health issue, if your body were healthy, what mental attitude would you get out of bed with? Well, what mental attitude are you getting out of bed with now while you're in pain? Oh my God. My back. My hip. Oh, my knee. Oh, Lord. Is that how you're getting out of bed? You getting out of bed upset? Because when we're in pain, we tend to get upset easily, do we not? We have a short fuse. We're very impatient when we're in pain. So if you were not in pain, how would you get out of bed? Fan base. Power of Christ compels you. How would you get out of bed if you were not in pain? Mentally is what I'm asking you. Mentally, we complain. We have conversations with ourselves mentally. So, what kind of mental conversation would you be having? That is where you go. You go and you have that mental conversation with yourself naturally. If you're drinking your tea and you're fretting about money, man, I got so many bills. Like, you're just sipping your tea and all you're thinking, how am I going to make these bills this month? You know, man, well, I got to do this and I got to do that. I don't know if I'll have enough, like I hate this, like, man, why is that? You see that mental conversation? Now, if you weren't worried about money because you had more than enough, what would you be saying to yourself? Oh, what I gotta do today? I gotta make sure this laundry's done. Yep, I'm just gotta check to make sure everything came out. Did I remember to pay all the bills? Oh shoot. Did I set up everything on auto pay? Like did I do that? And you go back and you check. Everything is set up. Oh, good. Different mental attitude. You'd not be gulping down your tea. You'd be sipping. Speaking of sipping, I gotta heat up my chai. Hello? Meow. Who's gonna make some chai tea? I will. I just felt the urge for chai tea, so I bought the ingredients yesterday. I digress. So that mental attitude. And then you select, or as Neville says, catch the mood. You will stop asking for signs because you will then understand, you will then comprehend that signs are the evidence of what has already happened and that you already know what is going to happen because you already know the mood. And once you know the mood, you now know the type of experience you will have will match that mood. So if you're happy-go-lucky, laid-back, blissful, whatever experience you encounter is going to fall in line with those things. If you're cantankerous and cranky and persnickety and acerbic, well then you can be sure you are going to come in contact with people who are just, oh Lord, salty. So you see, my beautiful friends, if you have to ask for a sign, you have just shown yourself that you're living from a place of doubt. You and I do not have to doubt. And the reason why we don't have to doubt is because of the mental seed we have planted within. And that mental seed, once planted, makes you feel a particular way. Neville says, what a feeling, what a feeling, right? He says, it is the feeling of the wish fulfilled. But he's not talking about feeling as in, yay! No, not those. Those are emotions, but they're also feelings. But what he's talking about is the knowing that the thing is secure. The knowing. The knowing. It is the same knowing when you plant in the yard. That's the exact same knowing. Come spring, I know I'm gonna get more apples than I can shake a stick at. Funny thing is, I do shake the stick at the apples to get them down from the top of the tree, but I have decided to leave the apples at the top of the tree. Why? Birds. They will eat the apples from the top of the tree, so none of the apples actually go to waste. I pick the low-hanging ones, where my 4'11" will allow me to reach. I pick those. And then the rest, well, they stay up there for the birds. Everybody wins. But I know come spring, I'm going to get me, that tree is going to be laden with blossoms. I know. So, you have the exact same knowing. You see, we have a rare skill, call it that if you will. We like to talk ourselves out of things. Oh yeah, but I can't put all my eggs in one basket. I can't. You just can't trust people. They might not show up to help me, so I can't commit. That's what we talk to ourselves. Whereas we just get into the place of what would it be like if we were living that outcome. And you know what we do to ourselves? We talk about, well, let's just get on a different timeline. Let's do a quantum jump. Ugh. I shake my head at that because that is confusing. That is confusing to the average man's ear, average human's ear. Well, let's do a time jump. A time jump? What does that even mean? But if I say to you, just get into a different mood, a different mental attitude. You already know what a mood is. And we already know that we know how to put ourselves in the mood. We know how to put ourselves in the mood for just about anything. Right? So today, as you go through this day, pay attention to what mood you are in. Because if you open your mouth and you say, show me a sign, Lord. And you know what conditioned us? TV. Because when we ask that question in Hollywood and TV, sometimes you see the lightning or something would fall over, and I'm like, you know what? If you see the sign, something has already happened, which means signs follow. They do not precede a situation. Easy like Sunday morning. I see you. Hello, welcome to the space. But I trust it makes sense for you to recognize that when you are asking for signs, you are admitting to yourself, whether you want to or not, that you are in doubt of the outcome. The principle of correspondence tells us you don't have to doubt the outcome. You know the outcome because that which you are is what you will experience. Whatever you are in the mood of, you will act out. Unless, of course, you intervene and change the mood, thereby changing the outcome of the thing. So, my dear, beautiful friends, oh, little bit, we've already been awake for such a long time, sugar. We've already been awake for a long time, little bit. So I trust you can apply it to any situation in your life. I don't know what your intimate situation is, meaning a situation that you are presently in. I don't know what that is. I don't need to know what that is. What we do need to know is, do you know what it is? That's one. Do you know what it is? Step two, do you know what you want it to become instead of what it is? And if you know what you want it to become instead, well, then, now, allegedly, scientists are saying when we ask ourselves a question, we rewire the brain to get the answer. It's a neurological pathway that forms when you ask a particular question, right? So, Neville Goddard, he wasn't a scientist. But remember, what would it be like if? Isn't that the question? What would it be like if I were no longer living with this situation? And then your brain begins to show you images and thoughts of things that would match that. Now, fancy thing begins to happen. If you ask yourself, oh my God, but what would happen? What would happen if I lost this? What would happen? Well, then you'll begin to see and to feel the effects of asking that question. You see? So, signs? We don't have to look for signs. Nobody looks for signs before the fact. Hello, we don't look for signs before the fact. We observe the signs as they have followed the thing that has happened. When it rains, if you came outside and you didn't know it rained, you'd get a sign that it did rain. You ever inhaled nice and deep after it rained? Oh, that's the best smell, right? The ions in the atmosphere. Well, then you would have smelled the evidence. You would have had the sign that it rained. So signs follow. Evidence follows. And if we observe what we do, we will see what mental mood, what mindset, what mental attitude we presently occupy. And not just presently, but habitually occupy. Anytime, Michael, anytime. So I trust that today you will not judge yourself if you doubt. Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Don't judge yourself. Pay attention to what it's showing you. It's showing you that you have temporarily forgotten the principle of correspondence. As within, so without. You reap what you sown. You have temporarily forgotten that. So remind yourself, wait a minute. I have to reap what I've sown. So what mental seed did I plant? Did I plant a mental seed of worry? Well, then I will have a myriad of things to worry about. See? So pay attention to the signs that follow your behavior. They're showing you something about yourself. They're showing you where you are habitually mentally. You have a habit of going to the same mental thoughts over and over and over again. It is a habit. And if we can remember that it is just the principle of rhythm, an ebb and a flow, it is not permanent, it is just a habit. So then when you're looking at whatever thing you're trying to quote unquote overcome, it is a habit. Habits don't break us. We make habits. So it does not matter where you are in life at the moment. If you remember that it is there because of a mental seed. What kind of mental seed? Well, look at how it makes you behave, and you'll see what mental seed it is. And then you can boldly say, oh, what do I want to be instead? Well, what do you want to be? You don't want to be that anymore, but what do you want to be instead? Well, then, remember step 2. Experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. That is always step 2, to experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. And what does that mean? It means, how would you sweep the floor? What mindset would you sweep the floor from? Well, what mindset are you presently sweeping the floor from right now? Chances are, as you sweep that floor, you worried about something. Oh man, blah 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 blah. And we talk to ourselves, blah, 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 I don't know, man, blah, right? But if your situation changes, if your situation changes, well, then your mental attitude would have to change as well. So now, what would you be saying? You'd be saying something completely different. Now remember, there are many tools that we can use to put ourselves in the mental mood. Mirror neurons are your friends. Or your enemy, depending on what you're looking at and your perspective. Mirror neurons, yes, remember those. A mirror neuron is exactly what it is. It is a neuron that mirrors. So that means it's looking at something. And you and I are always looking at ourselves. Well, you thought you were looking at somebody else? No, you're looking at you. So a mirror neuron, an example of a mirror neuron, is if you watch someone smile, or if you hear a baby laugh. They have the cutest giggles, don't they? Oh my word, do they ever? And so what do they make you do when you hear them? Well, you laugh too. Mirror neuron. You watch someone who smiles, your body releases the endorphins just as if you were the one who smiled. That is how powerful a mirror neuron is. But look at it on the flip side. If you go into a space and everybody's angry and cantankerous and persnickety, then you'll start to feel yourself slip into that mental mood. What do you think they call that? Mob mentality. It is just mirror neurons at work. So, use your mirror neurons to help put you in the mood. Oh, you want to be healthy? Well, then look at videos of people you think are healthy. Well, the ones, they're jogging or they're dancing because their hips don't hurt. They can drop it like it's hot, right? They're doing things that show you they can move. I like the way you move. You get that. You hear a song, and hear your mirror neurons at work. You hear a song, and you just gotta get up and dance. You start tapping your foot, bobbing your head, and you're like, oh, that's mirror neurons at work. Okay, that's what they are. So you use any tool to put yourself in the mood. I could say something, but I won't, but I have implied it subtly, if you know what I'm saying. You watch something and you are in the mood. Hello? Those are mirror neurons at work. But always remember the principle of rhythm. What you do the same way every time becomes a habit. So, if you habitually do this thing to put yourself in the mood, now You will always have to use it to put yourself in the mood. That is why you have to decide which habit is beneficial and life giving. Well, I saw my sign. It was a detour. Ah, but I digress. I trust Melly Mel is in the house. I trust that it makes sense to you today. You don't have to fret. You don't have to worry. You don't have to doubt. You don't have to do any of those things. Why? Because the principles tell you that you don't. And how do they tell you that you don't? You know that if you've taken a martial art for any length of time, even if you were the most coordinationally challenged student, so long as you practiced, you would get better. Because that is the nature of practice. Every cause has its effect. So if the cause is practice, the effect is what? The betterment of what you practice. So, what are you going to do? What are you going to practice? Are you going to practice being in a mindset that asks for signs so you can feel better before you do it? No, that's not what we practice. We practice knowing that the sign that shows up is there to tell me I did it, because signs only follow you. Oh, but Angela, I have to see the stop sign so I know that I should stop. The stop sign didn't follow me. You know what that is an indication of? Those road signs? They do follow, by the way, but those road signs are there. They have an effect. They make you do something. They make you act because that's their job. So what do? You act upon what that sign is. So the evidence of the sign is still following you. You're still stopping at the stop sign. You're still going at a green light. Mind you, some of us are slower than others, but I digress. Anywho, don't let me keep you. Let's just welcome everyone who's here today. A little bit already told you he was here. Miss McQueen, I see you, baby. Afternoon delight. Ow. Easy like Sunday morning is in the house. Y'all are here on Fanbase. It's good to see you. Twitter, well, Twitter is for the replay gang. And my girl Melly Mel is in the house in these YouTube streets. I wonder if that's K Frame too. K Frame, are you here, darling? What about the better man? Liza, darling, are you here? Ray of sunshine. Now, speaking of Ray, where is Ray Ray? Well, I haven't seen Ray Ray this morning. Mr. Stafford Jr. Listen, I love you all. Go forth today and know. Well, what is overspending a sign of? What a great question. Look at the mood. Before you get up to go spend, what mood are you in? It's swirling on Fanbase again. Oh, there you go. It stopped. Before you get up to overspend, what mood are you in? Are you wanting to feel better about yourself about something? You see, the overspending is an effect. So the mood, right? Because the question is, what is overspending a sign of? It is the mood. Because we don't just get up and go spend, right? Something triggers us to spend. So it is the mood that causes the overspending. So the mood of what? That is something when you, before you take up your card and go, oh, I got to get that. Whoa, 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 wait a minute. What mood am I in? Or pretending to be okay when you're not. If you're pretending to be okay, well, man, you're trying to save face. You don't want to be judged. Oh, look at her. She always got problems. You don't want to be judged. You're afraid of being judged. There's fear. That's the mood. Fear. Usually at the back end of things. Right? Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat if that answers your questions, or if you want to, there you go, or if you want a deeper elaboration. But here's the thing. Look, if there's youngsters in the space, look at your mother, look at your father, and, well, somebody will explain it to you. But it is along the lines of, let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me, right? You don't just get up and go do it. You are inspired to act by way of the mood to get up and do it. But as I said before, we do not see the correspondence between the mental mood and the physical action. But if we would slow down, we would catch. We would catch it. If we slow down, we would catch it. How do we get to 5:50 a.m.? Oh my God, I gotta go. Okay. So when I looked at the clock, it was 5:31, okay, for me. 7:31 for you, wherever you are. But now it's 5:50. And I'm like, how did we get here? I pulled a Deborah Cox. How did you get here? I stopped. But we act according to the mood. And because we do not slow down enough to put the correspondence between the two, the mental to the physical, we think we act independently. But we do not. Our actions are effects. Signs. Hello. They're signs of what mental mood you are in. So it's the same reason if you pick up that piece of cake and we comfort eat, listen to the word. It's called comfort food. Who usually needs comfort? Someone in distress. So if you comfort eat, you are in a mood of distress. So address the mood, because if you catch it before you act, you can change the mood. Thereby, you will make a new habit. So instead of, I feel so sad, oh, cheesecake, and you eat it. And then what happens? Oh my God, I can't believe I just ate that whole thing. I feel so bad about myself. And then you eat again because you want to feel better. You see the cycle, the habitual ebb and flow, the habitual circle that we're in? Okay. So if you catch yourself while you are in the mood before you act, you don't always have to follow, you don't always have to do it. But if you catch yourself in the mood before you act, you can say, there's that small window where you can say, I know what that mood is. Nah, I don't want to do that. Well, then do something else. Replace it. Replace it. But because we do not give ourselves the time to observe the mood before we do the action, we just blindly follow the mood instead of oh God, I just whistled. Sorry. That's the sign of a gap, but I digress. So take your time to catch the mood, address the distress. So if you say, oh, you're sitting on the couch and you are ruminating. Yeah, but he was the best you ever had, right? He was the best you ever had. I don't mean to brag. And you sitting there and you playing that favorite song that y'all used to play, and you Do you remember? You are remembering and reminiscing. How do you feel because you've lost him, right? How do you feel right there at that moment? You feel the pain of it. You feel the burden of it. And naturally, we always want to feel better. So we go and we do something that makes us feel better. Now, if that thing is food, because you see, the spleen likes sweet things, right? So that's why we tend to go for sweet. Spleen likes sweet. And so we go and we have something sweet and we feel better. Remember what I told you about the principle of rhythm. If you do the same thing the same way every time, you will form a habit. Period. So here you are, feeling sad and lonely, and you go and you eat to make yourself feel better. Every time you feel sad and lonely, you go and you eat and you make yourself feel better. Every time you're sad and lonely, you go and you eat and you make yourself feel better. There's the distress you feel. And because you have reinforced that feeling with food, you form the habit between the two, the distress and the food. So now, as within, you eat on the outside. Some people, they tell you when they worry, they eat. So if you're sitting there and you're catching yourself worrying, that is the distress. You're worried, you're fretting, you're anxious about something. Oh, well, Salty's kidneys, fear. So all I'm showing you is that thought, that feeling, that mood, the thought will match the mood. Everything stems from the mood. The mood is the seed. So the thoughts will match the mood. So you're not going to have thoughts of ending it all if you're blissful, because those two things don't go together. They're not the same. As within, so without. Right? If you are feeling anxious or depressed or worried, and depending on the severity of it, well, then remember, rhythm compensates. So the deeper the feeling or the emotion, well, you will choose the action to match that. But desperate times call for desperate measures, right? Drastic times call for drastic measures, right? So that is why when you practice observing yourself and how you behave, you must be honest. And it is not from a place of judgment either. Oh my God, I'm so dumb. Why do I always do this? I always make the same mistake. You don't always make the same mistake, my beautiful friends. You have just created a habit, is all you have done. That's why you always do that thing in the face of that mental stimulus, of that trigger. You always act the same because you practiced acting that way every time that mental stimulus came up and triggered you. All it is a habit. So the way in is the way out. You made a habit to keep you doing the same thing the same way every time. So change the impetus, change the cause, change the mental mood, change the mental attitude, and do it same way every time, and you will change your life. Oh, but I don't know how, girl. You just have to start. And you start with the observation of the thing. Oh, but Angela, I'm so anxious. Okay, that's the start. You're anxious. Don't try digging around to find out why you are. Just recognize that you are. And once you recognize that you are, what do you want to do with it? But I want to do what I've always done. I know, because that is the nature of a habit. We want to keep doing it. But to form a new habit, you ask yourself, now what would I be doing if I wasn't anxious? I'd be outside. Well, yeah, what would you be doing? That's not a hard question. What would you be doing? How would you be reading your book? Hmm. So, anywho, anywho, so and we have to remember this, right? You must remember this. At first, when we begin to recognize this habit that we've been doing of asking for signs because you want to believe it before you see it, nah, you will see it because you believe it. you know? So, when you do that and you want to make a change, we say we meet with this word resistance. It is not resistance in the sense that someone is pushing against you. What you are coming up against is a non formed neurological pathway, which means the action has not been repeated enough to form a new pathway so that when you want to do that new thing, you just slide right into it. I just heard, is it Patrice? Dip and ride, right? When you want to do something new and different, you are not met with resistance because, ah, it's fighting me. No, it's not fighting you. Stop that. What is happening is you are coming up against a pathway not yet formed. There's nowhere for it to go. So you got to set the groove. So you've got to, as Neville Goddard says, persist, which means to keep doing it. So when you want to quote unquote overcome your anxiety, what do you want to replace it with? That is the action you keep doing now to set down the new neurological pathway that shows you you are no longer living from a mindset of anxiety. Because if you were anxious, you wouldn't be doing that. You'd be doing what you've always done with your anxiety. So it is not resistance in that something is against you and trying to thwart you. That is not what resistance means. When we're talking with mental, it is simply a non formed neurological pathway. That is all it is, which will tell you you've not done the action long enough. So you persist in doing the action because now, as you persistently do that thing, you form a neurological pathway. And then one day you get up to do this thing and you go, wait, I just did it. I didn't even have to think about it. Why? Because you formed the pathway. So now you can do it. You can do it on autopilot now. We're always going to be on autopilot because that is the nature. But what determines the type of autopilot is the type of habit that you set down to make it autopilot. So when we blindly follow and create habits that we don't know we're creating, pick up your phone, put it down, pick up your phone, put it down, pick up your phone, put it down, bam, you got a habit in less than a week. You have a habit. You have a habit in 3 days. But you say, I want to quit smoking. And it's taking you 6 months. Look at the impetus. Look at the stimuli. That is what will make that habit happen for you faster. That's what will set down the neurological pathway for you faster. The way that thing makes you feel. You pick up that phone, why? Because you want to know, is Zendaya and Tom Holland, are they married? So you want to know. You pick it up every time you get a notification. So you pick it up and you put it down. Over and over and over again because the stimulus. Rich would tell you why Neville Goddard says feeling is the secret. The way you feel is what makes you act because the feeling is the mood. I, I. Listen, I have said what I said. Not because I know everything. I don't know nothing but them their laws. And I'm just beginning to scratch the surface of them. So I am telling you, it does not matter what the heck you think you are stuck in your life. I am telling you, it is only a habit. And habits are very easy to make. You just gotta want to make it. Oh, yes. It's gotta make you feel good. Dr. Feel Good. It's just gotta make you feel good. That should be my new name, Dr. Feel Good. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. But you just gotta feel good about this thing. Well, how am I supposed to feel good about anxiety and depression? You don't feel good about anxiety and depression. You feel good about the fact that they don't rule you anymore. That's what you feel good about. Look, if I don't get up, I'm gonna be late for work. But I trust that this makes sense for you and that you will apply it. All you have to do is get excited and start. You can't drag your ass through anything. You know why? Because the thing you want to do has to turn you on. It has to rouse your passions, just rile you up. You know, it has to trigger you. Because that's a word we like to use, trigger. Because the thing felt is the thing acted upon. So, what would it be like if you didn't have to deal with those problems anymore? Those particular ones you're dealing with. What if you just kicked them to the curb? The very fact of knowing that you kicked them to the curb and you're like, oh, I'm free. Give us free. You know what? I'm done. If you recognize and you stir or you rouse yourself with the wait a minute, are you trying to tell me I don't have to suffer anymore? Trying to tell you? I think I did. According to YouTube, I spent an hour and 2 minutes telling you. Yikes! So get out your dancing shoes and dance, girl. Or feller. Get those shoes out and dance. Why? Because if you feel good about making that change in your life, that good feeling will keep you persisting to make that new neurological pathway so that you can look in the mirror and go, I'm a new man, I'm a new woman. And you will see the what? Signs of it. Why? Because the sign follows your new change. Hello? Anyway, I love you. And I will see you on the morrow. I'm gonna go get my girl her medicine. Because you know how she is. Stubborn. But I digress. Yes, a little bit. I'm coming, sugar. Just hold on to your britches. Anyway. K-frame. K-frame, you got me cracking up. Now every time you walk down somewhere today, you'll remember Dr. Feelgood. Seriously, I'm gonna change my name to Dr. Feelgood. Oh, snap. Name change done. Dr. Feelgood. That's my new name. Oh, I just love y'all. Anyways, I trust that it makes sense, okay? And that you will apply it. The same ease that you pick up your phone and put it down every time. You pick it up, you put it down. It's the same motion. Same motion for changing your life. Ebb and flow. You You feel the old way creeping up. You go, we do the new. Do the new. Every time you feel, do the new. Do the new. No, do the new. Do the new until such time you're only doing the new. All right. I love you all, and I will catch you on the morrow. You know we're here, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, fan base, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay? Remember to check it out on positivelyangela.com. And remember, send me the address because there's 12 more of you I'm waiting on. Look, if come Friday and I don't have it and I send these things out and anything gets returned to sender, I will call you and I will tell you. I will shake you. Anywho, because you know who you are, who's prepaid. So I know who you are as well because I have the list. Can you just confirm the address for me because we may have moved in that space of time? Okay. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, love. I'll see y'all on the morrow. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Smoking. Somebody stop me. That's my father's favorite movie. The Mask. I digress. Anyhow, love you.